My name is Timothy Poole. I'm a mobile journalist, social media journalist, whatever people call it. 27 years old, from Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, Glass, take a picture.
Right now I am in Istanbul, Turkey, here to report live on the ongoing protests. I can't speak Turkish, so when I was trying to explain to the shopkeeper what I needed, I was, we were like, I was with my friend Jenna, we're like, gas mask, and he's like, gas mask, okay. And he goes and he grabs, he points to a bunch of masks, and then Jenna tells me we need a certain grade because of like the particles and all that stuff. So I was like, tear gas, and he was like, and I'm like, police, and he went, no problem. Over the last few weeks, social media journalists from around the world have descended on Istanbul, Turkey to cover the largest uprising the country has seen in recent history. Through the use of the internet, the story went global. But due to government restrictions, traditional media was unable to cover the unfolding historical events. While Istanbul burned, CNN Turkey chose to air a documentary about penguins. A lot of news organizations are still using older methods, probably because they're tried and true. A satellite truck can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on the situation, but a cell phone broadcast, which can reach high definition, is only going to cost you maybe $80.
Using the landline for the hotel, the computer I can just put in front of the window. So let's see if we can, here I'll point you at it and see what we can do.
When you hear that the police are firing water cannons on protesters in Turkey, you can know it's happening through social media because you're seeing videos and photos, but why is it happening? What is the ongoing backstory that led this community to that moment? Since 2002, Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan has ruled Turkey. Initially, he seemed to prove that a country can be both Islamist and modern. After the Arab Spring, even the West praised his leadership in the region. However, recently, Erdogan has been pushing an Islamic agenda, increased restriction on freedom of speech, internet use, television content, as well as the right to free assembly. In May of 2013, about 50 activists gathered for a sit-in protesting the demolition of Gezi Park, one of the few remaining green spaces in Istanbul. Turkish police raided the park, brutally attacking peaceful demonstrators, ultimately sparking an uprising leading to over 600,000 people across Turkey to protest. The sit-in at Gezi Park became the catalyst for a much larger anti-government protest. It is no longer simply about the park.
I came here when I heard about the violence and what was really going on, because it was kept away from the media for long. It was obvious that we had to create our own media and we had to share it with the people through our hands. No propaganda or no governments or no corporations involved. I opened my Facebook account about 5 years ago, only because that I knew that we can make groups there to do the politics, and I know this from other revolutionary movements. Anyone can have the smartphone or a camera and connect it to 3G and send the footage to us. We have met many people while they were in the barricades and they wanted to send us footage, and we took it and put it on the channel to make it more watchable for the viewer. But what's going to happen next is either Tayyip Erdogan will stop playing the mad dog, or he's going to become more and more brutal and maybe even risk civil war. We hope that it doesn't come to that, but it's very possible that it's going to be much more tenser than it already is here in Turkey.
Earlier today, we saw massive numbers crowding just down over there. They're actually still there. I wouldn't. It's hard to give an estimate, but maybe 30 to 50,000. So we're hearing from some locals on the ground that tomorrow they've said that if you don't leave the park by Monday, you're a terrorist, and so they're going to come in. Essentially, they're going to kick everybody out. That's where we're at so far. You need to log into YouTube to get the RTMP link. The audience I'm trying to reach is everyone. Me personally. I want as many people as possible to know about what's going on and to care about things that I believe are changing the world. So you've got many cameras, right? Around 60 or so journalists have been jailed simply for doing their jobs. The number has gone down recently, But you see this reflected in what the media covers. When the protests break out, this is because the journalists are scared they'll end up in prison for doing their jobs. Right now we're heading down to the mobile journalist tent. They do live streaming and other stuff similar to that. And then make our way down this road where there's just maybe 20 or so barricades lining the street. At the bottom there are just vans full of police by the stadium. This is the front line. And there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on down there. So the barricades that are moving all down this street have been reinforced by the activists. And right here we have the Gate of Freedom. It used to be that you could walk through, but since the word came down that they want to start construction in the park Monday morning, the activists have gone about making everything a bit stronger. You can see dumpsters blocking it, sheet metal. When the protest started and the police came in and it was really brutal, there was no talk of it on the local news networks. No one heard anything about it from local news. It was all coming through social media. In fact, one of the stations was actually airing a documentary about penguins. So this is why the symbol of the penguin with the fist in the air and the gas mask on is popping up all over the place in stencils and flyers. There's even been activists who are wearing stuffed penguins around their neck. It's sort of like a symbol of the failures of the media. So this barricade This barricade here is made up of sidewalk. The sidewalk is layered bricks, and the activists have pulled up each brick. You can actually see right here where the sidewalk used to be. So they're calling this the front line, and you can see that these pikes, these bars have been put in at an outward angle, and they've actually been cemented in. This is the second to last barricade until the street is open. So this is the same for this barricade straight ahead of us. This is the last line of defense the activists have until the street is open to traffic, but you can see there's a police vehicle straight ahead.
Orada yakma, orada yakma. Gel.
Nerede? Oradan görünüyorlar mı?
Abi kimse yakmasın, bekle yaklaşsın.
Mesafe yaklaştığında yakalım.
This morning was it was intense. As soon as I got down here, I saw posts from my friend Jenna about tear gas being fired, about water cannons. She got tear gas and she got hit with a water cannon. Things have calmed down a little bit, but every so often there's just bang, bang, bang. There's tear gas, there's water cannons. You can see they're still dripping. I turned around to come back this way after I saw that they had stopped, and then it was just water cannons, tear gas popping in my face, and everyone just starts running the other direction. So yeah, for those watching, I did hear someone, another journalist came to me and he asked me if I could confirm that someone had been hit in the head with a tear gas canister and died. But I've only heard people talking about it. Being on the ground, it's hard to confirm a lot of rumors. It may be true. I just don't know. So right now we are heading to the stage where there's supposed to be a formal announcement from the protesters that they're going to stay in the park despite the Prime Minister's calls for them to leave. The Prime Minister offered a deal that they wouldn't demolish the park until a court of appeals, finished their process. But the protesters, I guess they all discussed it and they decided they're going to stay anyway because now the protest is much bigger than just environmentalism or this one park. It's spread across the country.
Beraber yapacak. Saat 6'da burada buluşmak üzere yoldaşlar. Görüşürüz. Kolaylıklar diliyoruz.
The police have been amassing a large presence of buses. There are about 8 tome of water cannons and many police.
It's a big sin to cut the trees.
Yeah.
In Islam. I'm Muslim too. I know the rules. I read the Quran. And he knows more than me. I sleep very well at the night time. I have to ask to him, is he sleeping well?
If I do a live broadcast here on the ground right now, it'll turn off the camera that I have pointing down at the park because I can only have 1 feet at a time. And then if I walk 10 feet and it turns out the cell service is no good, it's just right here, then I lose both feeds. So it's a tough call. I think we'll walk around a bit, we'll see what's happening, and I'll keep doing some tests. And if it looks like I can get a consistent feed, we'll start a live stream down here on the ground. Otherwise, I'll try and do text updates, tweets, and live blogging. That's incredible. That's incredible. You know, 1 megabit up isn't great, but it's more than enough that I need. And 5 megabits down, man, this is a good spot. I should stay here when shit goes down. I can do some social media.
I'm here because we don't want these trees to be cut. That's the first reason. But then the ultimate reason is we want to change the government, change the system. We are using a Wi-Fi, AR drone technology, and it has camera built in. So we're filming what's going on here because the only TV station that broadcasts these news is a TV station that doesn't even have more than 2 cameras. So they have very limited options, opportunities. So we're trying to help them with some footage. You can see everything from like a bird's eye, you know. When you're in it, you don't see the masses here, but when you see it from the above, you really realize the size of this movement. Tonight is a critical, important night because the situation still didn't change. The Prime Minister is still talking that he's going to build here, and we are expecting some police interference tonight.
What's going on?
They're moving into the park. Just look out the window, water cannons firing. Tear gas is in the square right now.
At 10:48 p.m. Istanbul, Turkey. Clouds of tear gas now. Very difficult to breathe and see. And police are moving in on crowds. They have cleared the park. Tear gas is everywhere. It is intense.
Difficult to keep the stream going with low cell service, but things are a bit chaotic down here. Just followed a large group of police and a Toma water cannon as they made their way down a side street firing at activists until they fractured them up into different areas. Burned out my gas mask. The inside of the divan, I just went in there, there's tear gas. Just, the inside is just full of tear gas. So around 9, the police moved in on the south side of Taksim, cleared the park, and since then, we've had large groups of activists all around the area at the Hilton, here at the Divan, and we've seen a lot of police action. Police are trying to clear the activists, and activists are holding their ground here. Now, multiple times, police have fired tear gas into the lobby of this hotel, resulting in several injuries. People are being carried out, and they seem to be unconscious. Make sure to stay tuned, share the information on Twitter, share the link on Twitter, let people know what's happening. Share the news. The uprising in Turkey continues to spread. Currently, around 30 social journalists have been arrested. The government's increasing authoritarianism and use of violence has become impossible to ignore. It's been a week since we came down to Istanbul, Turkey to check out the Gezi Park, Taksim Square protests. We saw the activists had occupied the space with tents and banners and they held their ground. But just last night, the police moved in with water cannons and tear gas and they swept everybody out. So this very well may be the end of the park, but it's most likely not the end of the protest.